Now, irony. Irony is a sophisticated use of words or languages. This is use of language that has an inner meaning for a privileged. For persons, it addresses concerns, expression of one's meaning by language of opposite tendency. When you're trying to say something, but you use usually the opposite expression to say it for extra dramatic effect. Parody. This is composition in which an author's characteristics are humorously imitated. A travesty, parodia, a burlesque poem is a parody. Now, an allegory. An allegory is a narrative descriptive of a subject under the guise of another, having similarities to it. Example, John Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress, describing life as a journey. The Alchemist, meaning here is symbolically represented. Tragedy, you must be familiar with it. Tragedy is a representation of an action that is worth serious attention, complete in itself, and of some amplitude in language enriched by a variety of artistic devices. This is the definition given by Aristotle. And Aristotle says that there are six constituents of a tragedy, namely plot, character, theme, diction, thought, spectacle, and song. This is the Greek definition of tragedy given by the literature and the philosopher Aristotle. Now we come to tragedy, we come to comedy. Comedy, it represents men as worse than they actually are, while tragedy represents men as superior, doing a superior action, divine rather than human. Comedy presents them as inferior or worse than what they actually are. The other literary device is the metaphysical. This is also called the School of Donne or John Donne, and there were also poets like Andrew Marvell and George Herbert. It was a 16th century group of poets who represent far fetched imagery, fanciful conceits, visionary and supernatural. Their poetry is over subtle, relating the abstract to the concrete, the remote to the near, the earthly to the platonic, and the sublime to the ridiculous. Usually, these metaphysical poets, common themes used by them were of love and death, and John Donne's The Sun Rising, a very famous poem, Andrew Marvell's To His Coy Mistress. The other word which is very popular or very you should as students of literature be aware of is the Renaissance. This was a cultural awakening in Italy and Germany, and it influenced all schools of art, including painting, sculpture, and literature. It was a representative of paganism, renewed faith, freedom from church, and it represented transition from Middle Ages to the modern world. It was a kind of a revolution and revival of arts and letters and culture.